Hello there everybody, welcome to my research guide for Songs of Syx. In this video I'm going to explain to you how science in general works, what you need to do to keep those laboratories running, and I'm also going to cover the entire knowledge research tree here as well to rule out all the things that you might want to know about that stuff. So, first of all, to unlock laboratories, you need to have 25 people living in your city. Then you can build these, and everything you require to do is put stations inside the building and pay the furniture tax. Your scientists then will produce science points. You can read how many of these will be produced here, and it's pretty much dependent on which species you play. Humans excel at science generation, whereas I think Gardemi and Cretonians are among the worst. Don't take my word for it. You can check it out on every race when you press the question mark area. Scroll down there. You see their proficiencies towards all the education-related things down here. Okay, when you go into the screen up here, you now see all the technology that you can get yourself and how much points you have available, how many you have allocated, how many are frozen, and what kind of penalty you are currently suffering in form of less efficient technology. You want to keep this number at 0%, always. That's the very first thing. Okay, all the other technologies and this tree, I want to cover it real quickly, will either unlock new technologies, so new workshops and new ways and means to produce things like recipes inside your workshops, upgrades for your buildings, and productivity increases. It's all bundled together in topics that belong together. It's pretty much self-explanatory when you mouse over these. Science in this game, though, will decay once scientists stop working on it. Basically, these guys working in your laboratory are gathering knowledge, and once they have gathered the peak amount of knowledge, they will henceforth working on preserving that knowledge. If you stop preserving the knowledge, your research points will decay again, and then the penalty will kick in, the one that I told you don't want to have to. You can see here in the allocated area how many of these points that you have earned are currently bound in technology. And when you mouse over here, you can also see your current available tech points and where they come from. Frozen tech points are created by forgetting technology, willfully or not willfully. When you hold down left shift and click a tech left with the left mouse button, you will forget the tech, and bit by bit get the technology points back into your pool to work again with them. That's how it basically works. You can then unlock in the knowledge tab several technologies that will boost the research industry, if we want to call it like that. The first one that is probably even the most important one, at least as the first one that you want to pick up, is the laboratory upgrade. It'll allow you to invest some metal into your laboratories to make them 50% more effective. This is a huge upgrade, and it pays off only after a couple of laboratories, or if you have a lot of excess metal. I'll leave it up to you. The thing is just the technology itself is gosh darn costly. You start out with technologies that cost only 50 to 100 tech points at the beginning, and 1,200 are a pretty heavy number. So in my experience, it pays off best to employ roughly around 100 scientists before upgrading your laboratories to begin with, because most of the time it'll be easier to just build new labs and employ more scientists, because the more you forestall this upgrade, the more sudden increase of technology points you will have at the same time. There is another upgrade which needs then machinery, which is at the same time less effective, because it boosts yet again by 50%, but we are then boosting if I remember correctly, a value that is already being boosted by 50%, but I'm not quite sure about that anymore. Either way, this thing here costs much more than the first upgrade, and it is not more powerful than the first upgrade. It just allows you to get more efficiency out of the same density of workers. And If you are not producing the machinery yourself, well, if you run a very wealthy city, by all means, import the machinery, but realistically, this is a point where you really will hit late game, because it's again 5,000 points to unlock that upgrade even, and just to break even on the investment, you'll need a lot of laboratories. I tried it out a couple of times and I realized unless you have something like 150 or 200 scientists, you are actually not getting more points out than you're putting in. So that is one upgrade that you can safely delay until the later stages when you feel like upgrading quantity-wise isn't killing it anymore. And at that time, you also want to look towards the libraries. The libraries will give you a percentile bonus on your total knowledge stack, and a very low percentile bonus, and people have to work in there. So all in all, the library pays off best when you have like, I don't know, 50 to 100,000 knowledge points, something like that. I think the numbers differ depending on playstyle after all. You just have to take into account that this technology alone costs again 8,000 tech points. So to break even here, you will need at least a benefit of 8,000 tech points. Otherwise, you would have gained more tech by just building another lab or buying the one upgrade for 5,000. These costs for these upgrades are break-even points. If you're not getting your cost back out of that upgrade, it is actually not worth it, and you would be smarter by just expanding or buying other tech. At the end of the road here, for another 12 grand, we can upgrade the libraries yet again with Cutstone and Gemstone. Real late game goal, but yet again, I mean, it is powerful once you get there. The schooling and university tree has nothing to do with knowledge generation first. Schooling is for the young subjects of yours, and you can decide whether to educate them or indoctrinate them. Education will make them more productive in their jobs, while indoctrination will make them less upset even if the living conditions are horrible. The university does pretty much the same, but for people that have already grown up, and they can reach the maximum bonus for education only in the university. The school can't provide that. I don't know where the cap is on the school though. But the interesting factor is that the end of this road, the scholars technology, is again a flat modifier for your knowledge points. Not too high, but at the end of the road, if your total knowledge pool exceeds is large enough that 2% are more than 1,000 tech points, you basically already broke even on that. Anyways, so this is one way to increase the knowledge at the end of the road of this education system, but the education system in itself, well, if you check out the output here, there is a bonus for education. So education does increase your science output somehow, but to a very minuscule amount. But if you want a roadmap of sorts, this is the first upgrade, and then you should invest into education, and after education you should invest into these trees. Education has the interesting side effect that it makes your labs, like I said, a little bit more efficient, but it also makes all of your workshops more efficient. So it is a nice way of increasing the productivity of your city. Mind you though, that it costs time. People will go to the university and learn there and spend time there. That makes them workless. Generally, you can sum it up to education costs time and makes efficient. Indoctrination gives you more time that the people can work. It is basically quality versus quantity. That's it. The paper making and the paper making optimization sit here in the knowledge tree, but they're actually not really touching the knowledge production at all, except for libraries need paper to be ran, and so do universities, administrations, and schools. So you will need that stuff sooner or later, and I think it is sitting in the knowledge tab because so many industries that consume it are relying on it. Either way, paper making is also a nice export industry for all the maps that feature a lot of wood. It is a not too valuable good, but since it is producible out of a renewable resource, I consider it a really, really good trade good. And it is medium costly in the research tree, so yeah. that's pretty much all you need to know about researching in this game. The only last thing that I want to add is make sure your labs are in the radius of a janitor, because degradation kills the science output. You see, degrade is a penalty modifier, or I don't know. It incurs a penalty, which means if you miss out a janitor in the vicinity of a lab, your science points will eventually go down. You will forget techs, chaos will break out. Bad stuff. Therefore, make sure a janitor is around, and whenever you put these guys into work and you start buying technology from these points, you have no more freedom to unemploy them until you have forgotten some of your old tech. If you ever have to do it controlled, don't leave the game, don't leave it to the game what you will forget. Do it willfully so the penalty doesn't kill your city. For whatever reason you would need to unemploy the scientists, I don't know. Ideally, you never do that. Okay, that's been my researcher guide. I hope it is helpful. If you have any further questions, ask away. If you have anything to add that I have forgotten, which really might have been the case, add it into the comment section so we all can benefit from that. A thumbs up or a subscription would be also very welcome, and in the description box you will find playlist links to a Let's Play tutorial series which explains all the stuff. I built that city that you see in the course of the series, and also a playlist link to shorter tutorials like this one if you prefer your information short and concise. Either way, thanks for watching. Check out the other links for Discord if you want to chat with the people out on my community. Check out my Twitch if you want to catch a stream. And of course, a big thanks to the supporters of Icon Gaming. There's the links down there to Patreon, PayPal, or Buy Me a Coffee, or the YouTube channel membership system. Whatever tickles your fancy, I'd be a happy man if you'd check them out. So also, thanks for watching for the very end of this video. I really appreciate having you guys around, because where would I be without you folks? So see you on the next one and have a good time.